Connecting the dots. Now let's understand attentional problems utilizing theories so that we can develop better strategies to improve attentional difficulties and concentration lapses. So connecting the dot. We're wrapping up now, okay? Hang in there. So concentration lapses and difficulties earlier in this topic, we came up with not strategies, concentration lapses and difficulties that we experience, and we learned theories to understand the roots of these problems. And in chapter 16 and in other chapters in the textbook, there are a lot of psychological skills that we can use to improve our concentration and focus. One is a cognitive restructuring skills, which includes thought stopping, focus, refocus. Some people call it TikTok strategies, centering or positive self-talk to remove negative self-talk. Those are all cognitive restructuring skills that are associated with internal cognitive distractors. Exercise to improve concentration, like the information that you can hold, like expanding that space or holding the information a little longer time, which is related to like learning how to shift the motivation or focus, learning to maintain focus, searching for relevant informations and cues, and repeating information so that you can develop rehearsing events so that you have simulation experience to do better all related informational processing theory strategies. Some relaxation techniques, mentally, physically, breathing is one of them, and autogenic training, progressive relaxation techniques, those are all relaxation skills. If you have trouble to pay attention because of your physiological tension, then those are perfect strategies to do it. Goal setting strategies, time management techniques can be really good when you're developing monthly, weekly, daily routines so that you can pay attention on the relevant tasks throughout the day, week, and month. And a pre and post performance routine, very immediate techniques that you can pay attention to the present so that you don't get distracted easily by external as well as internal distractors. Sometimes people get distracted because they are not interested in things and are bored, and psychic up strategies, pep talks, and those are the ones that can be very effective. Okay, so putting all the dots together. Oh, before to that, Dr. Dan Gores, our second author of our textbook, talks about thought stopping and eliminating negative thoughts. So watch this short video on your own. And Dr. Larry Loesser also talks about routines for tennis players. So it's very resourceful to watch it for your practice. So here we go. I put our concentration difficulties, lapses on the left, and the middle, theories and concentration skills that we can use to improve concentration and focus attention level. And with all these problems, we can apply theories. As an example, what if worries and negative thoughts and social physical anxiety, what theory would you use? Some people say Q-utilization theory. Some people could say any other these theories. Depending on what theory you use, strategies change. In other words, you have to really look into the problems, causes of concentration lapses and difficulties of your own as well as your followers. And you know better than this theorist, right? So you're applying SK into PPK. In the real world, when you observe your followers or your own concentration difficulties or lapses, what theory best suits for understanding this situation? You could select one of these theories. Combination of these theories as well, depending on which one you pick from here. Do you see that? Strategies changes. That's the connecting the dot, problems, theories, and strategies. All right. This is now practical implication. How do we help ourselves as a leader, myself as a leader, and our followers to develop a better attentional skills and attentional capabilities? It's not that simple. Improving attentional strategy is not just pay attention, and that's not enough. There are a lot of things that you need to do your homework as a leader and bring that strategies to your followers, and you can apply same thing for yourself to perform better as a leader as well. So first one is understanding of strength and weakness of performers. Performers could be you as a leader, and it could be followers. You can use existing questionnaire, and you can observe yourself or your followers, whether they have attention retention problems, ability to shift attention, and how much information they can hold, all that. Where they have a strength, where they have performers have weakness. That's the first step. Second step is all coming to a very comprehensive process. As a leader, you got to understand the attentional demand of a given task. It could be small tasks or it could be comprehensively. So as an example, like what attentional demands is needed for basketball players generally. Then the basketball players positions, guard, forward or center, what kind of attentional demand do they need? You need to do that analysis so that you can really direct them properly where they need to pay attention. Number three, also you need to consider situational factors and the personality factors. We all know that person, if that person has competitive anxiety or social physique anxiety, low confidence, they will suffer. Because of that, they get distracted, right? Or psychological skills, even coping strategies. Do they even have a coping strategies or psychological skills to manage that concentration lapses? If they do, help them to strengthen it. If they don't have one, then you need to teach them as well. Even knowledge of a performers. Do you have enough knowledge about what you're about to do as a leader? And make sure that your followers also understand what they're supposed to do. Like, do they have some knowledge about what they about to do? All the checks about personality, personal factors. Another one is just situational factors. Is there or are there any distractors that hinder performers, your followers' performance externally? Loud music, loud parents sitting on the bleach and yelling at their own children, coaching more than coaches, kind of a situation. You need to think about eliminating. So assess that outside factors and the performers factors. That's step 3. Step 4, you need to also identify whether there is any situation-specific problematic areas or error patterns. Your performers, do they normally have all that problems related to concentration, or is a specific situation only during the competition, only certain situations, only with certain players? Analyze it and gather that information with that comprehensive understanding of a person's strength and weakness and attentional demand of a given task and what they have, what they don't have, and situational personal characteristics, and also situation specific problems or situations. Once you identify that, you can develop comprehensive intervention program for your followers to really strengthen their attentional skills and capacity. There are some tips for improving concentration on site right away, how we can help them to focus on while they're performing right there. Number 1, self-monitor, physical, mental performance. Again, sometimes you do well, sometimes you don't do well. Then when do you do well? When you suffer in your performance, and keep monitoring, and if you see a situation specific pattern, then you can develop a better strategies to keep your attention on the task. Routine, developing routine is a key. Goal setting strategies and time management, like I said, is one of those strategies to set your routines and keep your attention on the task. But there are also very specific immediate routine that you can see right before important performance, during the performance, and then after performance. One of the video actually talks about how the athletes can have routine between even points, right? So it can be very like 1 minute thing, it could be a day thing, it could be week thing, it could be monthly routine. You can develop these routines. It's a planning, and really you can really pay attention to what you're supposed to pay attention, as well as you can and teach that to your followers. If you and or your followers get easily distracted in a certain situation or important situation, as an example, competitions and or game situation, then use the simulation in practice so that they get used to with it, and then do their performance under pressure. And then that's the way to go. Use some keywords to focus. It's a self-talk, instructional and motivational words. The next slide, actually, Dr. Robert Weinberger talks about it. When you get easily distracted, you can use keywords like focus. Then get distracted and you're aware that you got distracted, and then you can say focus. Or you can say stop. And then like a stop sign, visualizing stop sign, and easily get distracted and stop. That's the first one. And then focus on, and include a little bit of instructions, like a focus on 1, 2, 3, 4. And then have a little bit like more than keywords to putting your attention back. It's a focus to refocus training too. Then when you came back to your task, what you need to focus on 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that tended to work best. Sometimes when we let our eyes wander around, then we get easily distracted. So we need to teach our followers, ourselves, how to control our eyes and where place our eyes. Staying focused on the present, not thinking about too much past and future. What's going to happen if I fail? Oh, I made a mistake, and dwelling on the past, not going to help. So we need to really practice how to be on the present while performing. That'll help us our attentional skills. Lastly, overlearning skills. Automatizing and skills, and that helps with our attentional skills, because attentional level, because we don't have to think about it, how we do it. It's just executed, right? Pros of it, yes, it helps our attention, but there are some problems with automatizing, overlearning the skills. What it can be, if you learn skill inefficiently, incorrectly, then you automatize it. That gosh, putting it that back and correcting it takes forever. So Dr. Roberto Weinberg, who is our first author of the textbook, actually repeats the information that I just said partially.